Days, so I don't really have any updates other than if anybody wants to know about my personal workouts or bench press or anything like that. Cameo appearances, I'm for whatever y'all want. Football-wise, we're doing the same thing. Everything's good. Just going to keep pushing. We've got today, tomorrow's Friday, and then we work out Saturday, and then they're off for 2 days. That's the 48-hour period we give them. Science says give them 48 hours to let their body recover, and then when they come back on a Tuesday, they should be in much better condition from the stress standpoint for their body from camp. Then we get into an in-season school routine. Before you know, we'll be playing a game.
So the Monday off, is that more this 48-hour theory, or the old philosophy when you were playing for Pat Jones? He'd do that just because he thought the first day of school was such a distraction he couldn't get a good workout in.
Yeah, coach's patience with not a good practice was not real high, so he just said, forget it, we're not practicing the first day of school. We have done that some in the past, but this year, the way the calendar fell with the Thursday game and several other things, we're able to give them Sunday off and then Monday off, which is the first day of school, so it works really good for our plan getting ready for the first game.
How much are you benching? How much are you benching?
You know, I don't max out anymore because I'm a little concerned about the old pec tear at 55 years old. I don't know, 250-ish, 260, something like that maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to keep up with my youngest, but that's going to be an issue, I think. So.
I tried to do a one-arm push-up at home the other day. Didn't work out.
You didn't get it?
No, I mean, what's your secret? What's your secret?
Well, you got it. Did you watch Rocky?
Yeah.
Okay. And you got to be able to go like that. So you see what you do is, you're a smart kid, and you got your backup. Is your backup here?
No, he's at home.
Okay. Well, then you might need him because two of you are smarter than one of you.
That's right.
It's weight distribution. So it's not really strength. So if you distribute your weight evenly, it looks much better. And if you watch the movie, have you not seen that movie?
Bits and pieces.
Oh my God.
Of course you haven't seen it.
That's
You're watching too much SpongeBob, man. You got to get off SpongeBob. So if you watch, what's up, Kolb? Huh? They all the way from California. So weight distribution, you spread it out, and then that way you don't have to be as strong. You need to watch Rocky. You'll love it. You'll be stuck on it. You'll especially like the part where he drinks 6 raw eggs.
I don't know if I'll try that.
No, I didn't say try that. I just said you'll like that part.
Coach, speaking of kind of watching things, I know Malcolm Rodriguez, kind of the Hard Knocks video. Have you seen that video? That's something that's been circulating a lot. Have you seen that?
Somebody texted me that last night. Are you referring to the one in the meeting room? Yes, I did see that.
Okay, so at what point did you kind of view Malcolm Rodriguez? At what point did you know Malcolm Rodriguez would not only be in the NFL, but definitely a guy that can surprise some people?
If I would have said I didn't see that interview, I'd have really wrecked your day.
Yeah.
That would have really. I thought about doing it.
Honest, yeah.
I thought about it. Said, no, I'm not going to do that. But gosh, I bet probably his second year here. He was a risk when we took him, undersized, and he really developed, which we all know. He looks completely different. But his second year here, he started doing things that were unorthodox for what would be a normal college football player.
Like what?
He just has ability. Like I saw another one of those clips. You guys might have seen it from 5 days ago where they showed both linebackers fitting up a run play, and one of them ran and dipped in a block and missed the guy, and Malcolm went through the A gap and then came back around and tackled the guy for a 1-yard gain. That's unusual. That's just not normal. But that's what he can do.
In that video, did you notice how uncomfortable he was?
Yeah.
That's a hard place for a rookie to be.
Well, those guys are making a living. So essentially, I've never coached pros. We talked about it in staff meeting this morning. So I don't know anything about pro football. But I know that those guys that are in that room that currently have jobs would like to keep their jobs. And when a coach says that, I saw Malcolm sinking down in his seat a little bit. Kind of put a bullseye on him, but it won't bother Malcolm. Malcolm's going to do his job. He's humble. I don't know. I would guess he felt uncomfortable because that's not his personality. But he's going to do his job, and it is what it is. I mean, the guy's going to probably play the game for a long time if the good Lord's willing to keep him healthy.
Why do you
With
think
others-
teams were hesitant to take him? Like, why did
He doesn't match. He doesn't meet up to any of the criteria, except production. So he's not tall enough. He's not long enough. His strength levels were good, and his speed was good, but they are really into height and length based on the analytics to be able to make it in an NFL camp, and so he just didn't match up for that. And you know, the interesting thing is there's a lot of teams that missed on him, right? So it wasn't just one. 31 teams missed on him. And so you can't just point it out. Now, here's what they're going to say. They're going to say, well, if we take 5 guys that meet that criteria, 4 of them aren't going to make it. So it becomes a percentage game, right? It's like Tommy Lasorda. I'm going to steal second base if percentages are with this guy and this pitcher and that catcher in the situation in the game. It gives me a better than 50% chance we're going to steal second base. If it's less than 50% chance, I'm not going to steal second base. That's what the NFL does.
Was that the same thing with Jalen Warren? I mean, he's looked pretty good.
You know, I've seen a little bit on him. I don't know exactly where he stands in their camp. I personally think that he'll make it. I think he's good enough to play at that level. Brings a lot to the table, but I just can't speak to that because I haven't seen that much on Jalen.
This week they moved him to number 2 on the depth chart at running back.
It's a good sign. They play again. Today's Thursday. Do they all play on Sunday?
I think
Or do they have preseason games this weekend?
Yes.
Okay, well then they'll play, right?
Yeah.
So if he's not in there in the fourth quarter, then that's generally an indication that he's going to be on the roster.
Coach, he obviously snuck up on you guys a little, snuck up on fans here, obviously sneaking up on the stores. Is there something sneaky good about this kid, and what sticks out
Which
about
kid?
Jalen?
Well, Jalen is he's very humble. He's very appreciative of the environment we have here. So when he came to us, he thought he hit a home run. He liked everything here. He was overjoyed to be here. So he was not entitled to be where he was, which is a real challenge for young people nowadays. Unfortunately, they get entitled, and when you get entitled, then you start regressing and going backwards because you've already thought that you've arrived. He never felt that way. Great person, great attitude, tough, intelligent, loves to compete. Great, lot of really important ingredients for success.
You guys
Okay.
are trying to find a way to ask, but what makes him so sneaky good, I guess?
You talking about on the field athletically? He's powerful and he's faster than what you think. Like at Boise, when he broke that long run, nobody thought he could break a long run. Now the year before he played and had a lot of success at Utah State, but his strength levels increased considerably when he came here and spent 6 months with Coach Glass. And then now he was able to gain that breakaway speed. That's where he made his biggest stride. The strength conditioning here allowed him to develop breakaway speed. But he has really good side to side, as we know. He has the ability to get yards when there's not really yards blocked, as we know. So those two things really help him, which is what it is in the NFL, right? There's not a lot of really big holes in the NFL. The NFL, you kind of get what you get.
Okay, from Malcolm and Jalen, let's go to fall camp here.
Mhm.
Give me a couple of guys, maybe new to the program, that have impressed you. This may not be their year, but I like the way this guy looks, and I think he's going to be a player.
Oh, you know, Jabbar, you guys know about Jabbar, but he's Muhammad. He's got a lot of Broderick Brown in him. Loves to compete, never says a word. When you look at him, you know, he's not going to just wow you with his physical stature, but he just doesn't go away. You know, he's just kind of like a mosquito that you can't hit. You know, just keeps flying around you and causing problems. That's what he does out here. You know, staying on the defensive side, the linebackers we kind of know about. The two young ends, Leos, whatever you want to call them, Jaleel, Deshaun, those guys are going to be good prospects, we think, at this point. If they stay hungry, don't become entitled, work hard, another year in the weight room, they're going to be completely different body structures at this time next year. They're doing fine now, but they're lost. And, you know, they get hit in the mouth and get knocked down some, but they've shown signs of staying healthy and being able to make some strides in camp. And offensively, Most of those guys that are competing out there are guys that you're familiar with, and particularly on the edge were a lot of young guys that were played last year that we saw some that were just trying to find their way. They're doing well now. I'm honestly, offensively, I'm particularly pleased with the backup quarterbacks and the strides they've made. My comfort level with them is 100%, because they're really the new guys that have tried to work their way into full speed action. The other guys have done it. We've talked about Ollie, so everybody knows Ollie's coming on.
How about little Presley?
Oh, he's doing good. I just am very, very hesitant to talk about a true freshman. I just am. Are we glad he's here? Is he a good prospect? Is he a good take? Sure he is. I just like to say much about a 18-year-old. It's just such a different game.
What are some specifics you've seen with the backup quarterbacks that's been reassuring to you?
Just the way they operate. When they're in, they operate, and it looks like our offense, and we call our plays, and it looks like normal. That's really what it comes down to. They can both run. Got to be able to avoid rush and take off nowadays. Defensive linemen are good. Defensive linemen at this level have transitioned into what it was in the NFL. Offensive linemen really can't block them. It's just a matter of holding them off for a little bit, and then a quarterback's got to make a play.
What do you think's been the reason for that transition with defensive linemen?
The guys that are at our level now have trained differently than years past, so they come in better physical condition. Some of these guys have personal trainers. Their bodies are more developed than they ever were before, and they're more athletic. So you see more 225 to 240 pound guys that'll run between 4.6 and 4.8. Then in the past, those guys that played that position used to run 4.8 to 5.2. Now they're running 4.6s to 4.8s, and so you have a 320 pound offensive lineman that's trying to back up and stay in front of a guy that's way more agile than him, and it makes it extremely difficult.
You mentioned Ollie earlier. Is it starting to look like he might have a factor on this season, or is that more of a future thing?
Just hard to tell as a freshman. And he's in a difficult position. He gets hit a lot. So he's doing really well. And he's lucky that he has a body that is what most sophomores in college would have. But I just hate to go out on a limb on freshmen based on they're 18 years old. It's just a different transition, the physicality part of it.
What
How
about
many
some
cameos
of the...
have you done? How many cameos have you done?
Gosh, I don't know.
That sounds like
I
a
think
lot.
The deal told me I had 18 sitting right now that I've got to get caught up on. I don't know how many I've done. I was unaware of that until somebody did it, and then I decided it's a great way to interact with the fans. It's a great way for me to interact with people all over the country, to kind of get myself out there as a normal person. Most of them have come from other states. I had an Oregon Duck fan, I had an Iowa fan, all across the country. So that part's been pretty cool to interact with the fans.
How does it work? You shoot a video and send it? Or?
Yeah, it's all done on video. Yeah.
Coach, I know a lot of those cameos are like for birthday parties or anniversaries. If you were to pick the craziest thing you've had to say, what is it?
Well, I've done the 40-year-old. Obviously, is the biggest hit.
Yeah.
I should have started that 12 years ago. But I do anniversaries. I've done birthdays. I tell you, the other one I've done quite a few of is NFL fantasy football.
Oh, really?
Like you getting together with all your buddies and y'all do a get together and do a draft or whatever. I don't really know how to do fantasy football, but they send me the information and they want me to heckle the guys that didn't do good last year. Like one guy, there's like, dude, you picked a kicker. I mean, who picks kickers? So I'm guessing they're all sitting around drinking beer, and then they throw it on and make fun of guys that didn't do good the year before. So that's been pretty cool.
Coach Langston Anderson, obviously you have been quite a visibility for you guys, but injuries have kept him off the field.
Right.
He's been healthy. I've heard he's had a pretty good camp. What have you seen from him so far? And if he can stay healthy, what do you think he can bring?
He's doing good. Knock on wood. He's doing good so far, and we just want him to keep going. He makes plays. He's staying healthy. We held him one day because he was had a little tentative with his ham. Came back the next day and is doing good. I want him just to get out there and play. He hadn't even got a chance to get out there and play. So he's doing good so far, and hopefully he can continue to push through. We're going to need him.
What do you think of the second, third string running backs who've been here a little while? Some of them like Jaden Nixon, Zach Middleton. What have you seen in their progress?
They're doing good. Zach missed a week. Zach got dinged in the head, and so He went through protocol, so we had to hold him out a while. He's back now. Jaden's doing fine. I mean, they're doing good. They don't have any game experience, and it's no different than the question that I answered on Ollie. It's how can they withstand the physicality of playing at this level? That position gets hit, I've said it a million times, more than any position. And so we're going to need them all. Every year we need 3 backs. And, the year that one guy carries it 23 times a game and we don't have to use the others unless we want to, I don't see that happening in the future. Even as good as Jalen was last year, there's times we didn't have Jalen. So we're going to need them all.
I know you said Jalen's, of course, breakaway speed at Boise State surprised you all last year. What about Jaden Nixon's touchdown with the spin move against TCU? Was that a surprise last year?
We knew that. Jaden came out fast. He was a 10-7, 100-meter guy or something in Texas. So we knew he was fast. His body being developed, which he has, he's 12 pounds heavier. And he has that side of it. Pass protections, being able to pick up a safety or a backer. The physicality of running in the A and B gaps and getting hit. But his speed and breakaway is not an issue with Jaden.
Any updates on Blaine Green?
He's got the wrist. Yeah, well, we won't know for at least a week or 10 days, so we'll just have to see where we're at with him.
Does that change how you might use that position if he is out for an extended time?
Does it do what?
Does that change how you use that position if he is out?
Oh, I mean, we went through this last year, so we run our plays, we do what we do. He's more of a big type receiver playing that position, so there's some things we can do differently. Coaching is understanding your personnel and who you have on the field and doing what they can do best, not which plays you can draw up that you think you're best at. So we have to go through some adjustments. If he's not in, we can hit you in the mouth a little more with the other guys, but maybe not as much in the vertical threat. So we just have to make those adjustments.
Jake Schultz moved over from
Doing
defensive
good.
end. And how's he doing?
Doing good. He's going to play. He's getting better every day. There's a transition, but he started to understand the concept in the spring. Now he's getting more reps and starting to play more and not think as much, which is the direction that we want him to go.
When we talked to Casey Dunn last week, he brought up, we were talking about Brennan Presley, he brought up Josh Stewart's name. Is that a good comparison, you think, for Brennan?
Yes, except Brennan's faster. Josh was 4.75. Most people don't realize that, but Josh had the ability to like when he would return punts and stuff, he could feel somebody coming and slip away from him. Brennan will be able to take off and run away from him, but their side to side, their approach is very similar.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this will be the 20th year that OSU's been doing the walk. You were an assistant on staff when it started, but have you seen that tradition grow over the past 20 years?
Well, our game day here is awesome. Coach Miles started the walk in whatever year, and I'm glad you told me that. I was unaware of that. I didn't realize it had been 20 years. And so on game day now, I know in the years past we have 35,000 somewhat registered tailgaters now that we know are on campus. They have to keep track of all that for security and things like that. So I was told 35. And then numbers are rising based on almost somewhat limited space. We don't really have as much space anymore. So it's a great tradition, okay? Great idea Coach Miles had, and then it gives the fans a chance to see the players on game day and the little kids to see them face to face and all that. So it's been pretty cool. It's been a really good tradition. We've transitioned the game day here over the last 12 years to what would be comparable to pretty much any game day anywhere in the country. Starting on Thursday night, tent setups, obviously Friday, and then Saturday, and then into the game.
How much Central Michigan are you working on in practice right now?
It'll start, the majority of Central Michigan will start Saturday. So we'll practice today. Tomorrow we'll do a heavy practice that will be more situational game type stuff. And then Saturday we'll tone it down some and do some other situational stuff, just not as long. And Sunday, Monday they'll be off. And then part of Saturday's practice will be some introduction into Central Michigan. Now, they should have already been deep into it throughout the summer, which I'm thinking most of the guys are. But as far as us doing the teaching aspects of concepts, it'll be Saturday.